how we can shift things in our brain and have the ability to understand in another way. So I'm going to give you guys an example. So here's visual. So we're going to start with one that's probably the most common one that people rely on very heavily is our eye. Now our eye is really cool because it has the ability to see on the sides, but the most clarity that the eye has is right in the center. So when you hear a sound, you automatically turn your head towards the sound because you're trying to get the center of your eye in this so that you can focus and determine if there is some danger in front of you. So that ends up being a challenge. We have, the big saber-toothed tiger coming. We need to make sure that we're going to protect ourselves. So we're going to look at where we hear the sound, and we're going to run if we need to. Another interesting thing that happens when information comes in is the image will flip inside the inner eye. Inside the eye, it reflects upside down, and then your brain reinterprets it and flips it back the other direction. So that's another interesting one that happens. And I put this one here because I wanted to talk about an interesting aspect of what happens in the brain. It turns out that in the brain, the occipital lobe back here, which relates to vision, when somebody can't see, people used to think, well, that part of the brain just didn't work. Well, it turns out that it's similarly related to other elements like taste. And what happens is that part of the brain ends up being taken over by other elements. So I saw a video quite some time ago. It was really fascinating because they were trying to figure out different ways for someone that was blind to be able to see and sense in their environment. And one of the ones they came up with was called echomotor locating, and they would click, and they would make a click sound, and they could tell how far away something was based on the sound of the click coming back into their ears. So they were really using their ears in order to locate stuff. Another one is the tongue. And what they did was they took a sensor and they would place it on the tongue, and they would be able to locate where things were located in the room based on the sensories that were kicking up on their tongue. So when we have a part of the brain that's not being used, it doesn't go unused. There are other things that end up taking up that space and utilizing that information that's stored in the brain. So our brain's a pretty interesting little dude. And then just know that your eyes can be tricked. So take a look at this image and tell me, do you guys notice anything on this? So what is this a picture of?
Just squares with a box around it.
Okay. Are you seeing little gray dots showing up in between the boxes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they really there?
No.
No. It's just our eye is actually playing some tricks on us. So when we look at perception, the thing to know is that our eyes will take information in, but we can play with our eyes in order to give you different types of information that may not be exactly the same. So know these pieces. All right, now we have our ear. So we hear with information. This is the outer part of the ear, the information comes in, and this is more of a capturer, and this is a piece of cartilage that's out here on the outside of your ear. And then it kind of helps to keep some of this other stuff clean. And then the information kind of goes in, it goes down to his ear canal into this hammer system, and this hammer system interprets that sound and goes inside. So even when people are deaf, they'll attach a cochlear implant right here on the back of the ear, and that cochlear implant will help give them that vibration to feed back down into the inner ear and send the information to the brain. Another element that the ear is responsible for is balance. So if you have issues with your inner ear, oftentimes your balance will be off and you won't be able to stand well. My mom had some issues with vertigo, and apparently it was just horrible. I had it once. I had to go on medication. had seizures when I was younger, and they put me on seizure medication, and it was really strong. And I remember like having to hold on to the walls as I was walking down the hallway just to keep myself upright. And I couldn't, I at least initially until after, I don't know how long it was. It was a couple months, I think, before I could actually drive. I was supposed to just take the bus. And initially there was no way I could have drove there. I was way too off center to be able to drive. So balance is a huge part of what we have. And that's pretty miserable when you can't stand straight, you know, and you're trying to manage what you're doing with your body. It's a challenge for sure. So I have a cute video clip here for you. This is Who's on First. Anybody have heard of Who's on First with Abbott and Costello? Okay. So this is a clip of Abbott and Costello doing Who's on First. And the reason that I'm using this one is this idea that we might be hearing the information, but it doesn't make sense based on the way the information is being presented. So here you go. See if it'll play. Well, that's nice. I got it in there, but it won't play. Okay, well, I can go grab it.
Friends, I told you that my partner would be here, and here he is. Didn't you expect him, did you? Now, he always shapes up. Now, why not let the folks themselves ask for something that they like to hear?
All right, what would they like to hear?
Something different. Now,
Okay.
is there anything special that you would like to hear us do?
Baseball.
No, wait a minute, friends. You don't want to hear that, do you?
Yeah, we got the props for you here. Well, you came prepared, didn't you?
All set, huh? Well, this is a must. I guess it's a must. We've got to do it. Well, I'll tell you what to do. Let me see. It looks all right.
Okay, old
Now,
boy.
we'll pretend. All right, I'll take it easy with that. We'll just pretend that we're organizing a baseball team here at the retired actors' home. And I am the manager. Now,
You're going to be the manager of the retired actors baseball team?
yes.
I would like to join the retired actors baseball team.
Oh, you would?
And I would like to know some of the guys' names on the team, so if I want to play with them, I'll know them, and I meet them on the street or in the home here, I can say hello to them.
Oh, sure. But you know, they give baseball players nowadays very peculiar names.
I know, a lot of funny names.
You know, like Sticky
Nicknames.
Fields,
Sticky Field.
Goofy Dan, Boopy Bobber, Booby Bobber.
I know all of them.
Well, let's see now. We have on our team, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
That's what I want to find out, the guys' names.
And then,
That's what I want to find out, the guys' names.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Now, Abbott, you
Now-
want to be the manager of the baseball team?
Yes.
You know the guys' names?
Well, I should.
Well, you tell me the guys' names on the baseball
I
team.
say, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
You ain't saying nothing to me yet. Go ahead and tell me.
I'm telling him.
You ain't
Look,
said nothing yet. Go ahead and tell me.
who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
You know the guys' names on the baseball team?
Yes.
Well, go ahead. Who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the guy's name.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who?
The guy playing first base.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
What are you asking me for? I don't know.
Now, wait a minute,
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's his name.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Who?
The guy on first.
That's it. That's his name.
Well, you ain't said nothing. I ain't asked you nothing.
You did.
You know the guy's name on first base?
Sure.
Well, tell me the guy's name on first base.
Who?
The guy playing first base.
Who is on first, Lou?
What are you asking me for?
Don't get excited. I'm saying who.
I'm asking you a simple question. Who's on first?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who? I'm asking you, what's the guy's name on first base?
Oh, no, what's on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
One base at a time now.
Don't mix up my...
I'm not mixing up anybody. Now, what's the guy's name on first base?
Now, what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who is on first?
I don't know.
He's on third. We're not talking.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
Now, well, let's not...
Whoa. How did I get on third base?
You mentioned his name.
I mentioned his name.
Yes.
I don't know anybody's name on the team. How could I mention a guy's name?
You did. You just mentioned it.
All right, what's the guy's name on third base?
No, what's on second?
Who's on second?
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on first.
I didn't even mention a guy's name on third base.
Yes, you did.
All right, then who's playing playing third base?
No, who's on first?
I'm not asking you what's on first.
What's on second?
Who's on second?
Who's on first?
I don't know. He's third base. And I don't know anybody on a baseball team.
You do. You mention their names.
I do?
Sure.
You got an outfield?
Well, naturally.
The left fielder's name.
Why?
I just thought I'd ask you. I just thought I'd ask you.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
Well, go ahead. Tell me.
Tell you what?
The left fielder's name.
Why?
Because I want to know. Because.
Oh, he's center field. You know these players as well.
Who's in center field?
No, who's on first?
What's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know. Third base. Do you know the guy's names on the team?
Look, Louis, you don't seem to understand. See, I have a first baseman.
I know you got a first.
Gets his-
I ask you, what's the first? I ask you, what's the first baseman's name?
No, what's the second baseman?
I'm going to stop asking you. So I ask you, what's the first baseman's name?
What's the second baseman?
I don't even get past the first. All right, who's on second?
Who's on first?
What base do you want to talk about?
You talk about anyone you want to talk about.
All right, now who's on first?
Right.
Okay.
No.
All right, you got a first baseman.
Yes.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it. Every dollar of it.
Who gets it?
He does. Sometimes his wife comes down and collects it.
Whose wife?
Yes. Why not, Lou? He's earned it.
Who did?
Yes.
Look, when you pay off the first baseman every month, you get a receipt from the guy?
Sure.
How does he sign his name?
Who?
The guy you give the money to.
Who?
The guy you give the money to.
Well, that's how he signs it.
That's
Lou.
how who signs it?
Yes.
Go ahead, tell me.
That's it.
Who? Look, you go to first baseman,
Yes.
and you say to him, here's your money, sign the receipt. How does he sign his name?
Who?
The guy you give the money to.
That's how he signs it.
That's how who signs it?
Yes.
Sure. You gotta get a receipt from the guy, don't you?
Get one, Lou.
How does the guy on first base sign his name?
Who?
The guy on first.
That's how he signs it.
I'm asking, when you give the guy the money, what's the guy's name that you give the money to?
Now, wait a minute. What signs his own?
Who signs his own?
No, who signs his?
I mean, what's the guy's name on first you give
What
the...
is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know. Third base. Left fielder's name, the center field. I don't know if you got a pitcher on the team.
Well, this be a fine team without a pitcher.
It's a fine team. The pitcher's name.
Tomorrow.
You don't want to tell me the day?
I can't change that name.
You don't want to tell me the day?
I'm telling you.
Go ahead. Tell me the pitcher's name.
Tomorrow.
Why not tell me today? I am going to wait
telling
for
you.
tomorrow. Then tell me the pitcher's name.
Tomorrow.
All right. What time tomorrow you tell me the pitcher's name?
What time what?
What time tomorrow you going to tell me who's pitching?
Who is not pitching?
I'll break you around, you say who's on first. I want to know what's the pitcher's name.
What's on second?
I don't know. Third base. Third base. Third base. You got a catcher?
Certainly you've got a catcher on a baseball team.
Catcher's name.
Today.
Today. Tomorrow's pitching. Today's catcher.
Now you've got it.
Now I got it. All I got, we got a couple of days on the team. That's all.
I can't help that, Lou. I don't
You know,
think-
I'm a pretty good catcher myself.
That's so they tell me.
Yeah, now I get behind the plate and I'm going to do some fancy catching, and tomorrow's pitching on my team, right?
Yeah.
Now tomorrow he winds up the ball and I'm behind the plate and the heavy hitter gets up.
Yeah.
Now the heavy hitter gets up and he's ready to hit the ball, and tomorrow's going to throw the ball. I'm the catcher. Now when tomorrow throws the ball, the guy bunts the ball. Now when he bunts the ball, me being a good catcher, I want to throw the guy out of first base, so I pick up the ball and throw it to who?
Now that's the first thing you've said right.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Well, that's all you have to do.
Is to throw the ball to first base.
Yes.
Now who's got it?
Naturally.
Sure. Look, the guy is running to first base, but I want to throw the guy out. So I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
Throw it to who?
Naturally.
And who's got it?
Naturally.
Huh.
Hey,
So I pick up the ball and I throw it to Natural.
No. You throw the ball to first base, then who gets it?
Natural.
That's it. Now you're
Same thing. I pick up the ball, so I throw it to Natural.
You don't.
I throw it to who?
Natural.
That's what I'm saying! I said I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
You ask me.
You throw the ball to who?
Naturally. Same as you!
Say it that
I throw the ball to
You
Natural.
don't. You throw it to who?
Now who's got it? Naturally, that's what I said. Whoever it is better get it. That's all I
Get it.
can
Don't worry about who.
Who'll get it?
Yes.
He better get it.
All right.
Now, I throw the ball to whoever it is, drops the ball, so the guy runs a second. Who picks up the ball and throws the what? What throws the I don't know, throws it back to Tamar. Triple play.
Could be.
Another guy gets up, and it's a long fly ball to because. Why? I don't know. He's on third, and I don't give a darn. I said, I don't give a darn.
Oh, that's our shortstop.
I mean,
Okay. So what we can see is that there can be a lot of misunderstanding in communication, and sometimes interpreting the words in the way that somebody's speaking them can be confusing. So we have those kinds of challenges. All right. So we're going to talk about kinesthetic. So we look at kinesthetic, we have our skin, and on our skin we have those little hairs. We have the different layers of the hairs. When I was in 4th grade, our teacher taught us about the epidermis. And so we would walk up to our family and go, "Your epidermis is showing." And we thought we were so funny. And there were some people that didn't know what it was, but I think a lot of people are familiar with their epidermis by now. But it is the largest organ on the body. And we have a lot of sensors here in our skin. So if we look there at the image, you'll see a lot of receptors. You'll see some fat cells in there. You'll see the different muscles and different pieces in there. So a lot of information is being pulled in by our skin. It is protection. It is waterproof. It keeps track of the temperature and keeps it from getting too warm or too cold. And this is the one thing that changes. You know, when we talk about people having different colors to their skin, it really just has to do with melanin. That's the big difference between one person and another. It's just the amount of melanin that they have in their skin. And gustatory relates to taste. This relates to our ability to speak. So our tongue, which is the muscle in our mouth, allows us to speak. The tongue moves around to allow us to perform different sounds in our mouth. Obviously, it helps us eat. There are 8 different muscles in the tongue that pull the tongue together. And then I thought this was an interesting little thing I looked up, and it said that when it becomes pale, it's not getting enough blood flow and it becomes pale, and it suggests there might be an issue with the heart. So I thought that was an interesting one. But you can see there's, all this information again is feeding into the brain, and that information is going down the central nervous system to feed the rest of the body. Olfactory relates to the respiratory system, and then inside of the nose is a bunch of small hairs, also meant to be sensory, but it's also meant to clean and keep dirt and stuff out of going down into the nose canal. We work with different senses. It helps with taste. I have some people I know that have dentures and stuff, or something that sits across the top palate of the mouth, and that's another one that kind of messes with it. So if you block the top palate, which you'll see a lot of people when they go to drink something that's unpleasant, plug their nose because it's taking away some of the information that you might have. Have you guys ever tried smelled vanilla? When I was a kid, I wanted to drink it so bad because it smelled so good to me. I wanted to drink it. And my mom's like, it doesn't taste like it smells. So that's one of those ones where you have a mismatch between the two. But a lot of times you smell it to make sure that your food is fresh. You smell it to see how it tastes. It's just another aspect of the pleasure of eating food, is that our nose is able to bring in information as well about the experience of our food. It keeps moisture in the nose, and then you can kind of, again, trick it. You can use things like scratch and sniff. So scratch and sniff will tell the nose that you're smelling something, and it's not really that. Did you guys ever play with scratch and sniffs when you were a kid? They're probably not as popular as they were when I was little. Have you guys ever seen them? And you just scratch it and then the smell comes up from whatever it is that it looks like? Yeah, I love that stuff. So again, just remember when this information comes in, it's going to feed the information down into the nervous system from all of these different pieces of information. And based on the information that we get, we're going to take action. Our body may actually be responding before we even know that we're responding. We might start running before our brain has an opportunity to process why we're running. So there's things that are going to kick in before our brain has an opportunity to interpret its meaning. But this part of our brain down here, which is the brainstem down here, this part down here in the bottom, this area down here is the reptilian brain, and the part of the brain that kicks in, that's holding on to that information, and that information goes down and feeds. So the reptilian part of the brain is the part that's going to respond oftentimes before you even have an opportunity to think about it. What kind of questions? Do you guys have any questions about this? Is this kind of making sense, or is this no? You're all good? Okay. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm gonna talk a little bit more about perception and the way that our brains get tricked and the way we might be able to use our brain in a different way. So I'm a hypnotherapist, so I'm gonna give you guys some of the theory of the mind that we use in hypnosis to help you understand our process, how we generate information, how information will sometimes come in, and how we might reinterpret it or misinterpret it, or how the information goes in and then oftentimes gets stored in a different location. Hey, Haman. How are you? I'm glad you made it. Okay, let me grab some information real quick and I'm going to send it through to you in the classroom here. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pop some files into the chat of the thingy. So if you guys want to open your chat. Okay, it looks like it's not going to let me send the other two, the Word documents. So let me just show you where they're at in the classroom and you guys can go grab them. Okay, go down here to your speeches and choose the journal presentation. And then the first one you can go to is the worksheet. So the journal worksheet's right here, and then you can just click right here and download from there instead of having to go all the way inside. And then you can come down here and get research terms, and then again, just download that right there.